Hi, this is Kubeta woman. Today I hope you're feeling strong because I have a challenge for you. I'm feeling particularly strong, flexing the muscles because I would need it for today's project. We're gonna do a cutting board and a cheese board, and we're not gonna use a planer. We're only using three items. We're gonna use a sander, we're going to use a jigsaw and a drill with particular fittings to sort of make a hole. This is not really necessary, but it's optional, but it's up to you to decide. So I found these pieces lying around, and it's nice and thick. It's a hardwood. I don't know particularly what type of hardwood it is. A lot of us in Namibia will just think of this as braai wood, but today we're going to do something with it, and let's get going. Okay, so this at one point must have been one board. I'm not particularly sure. I think it was one board that broke off, and so I'm not planning to join them. I thought they would do well separately. We have a bit of a problem with this one over here. It has a hole in it, and I don't have any epoxy or resin to fill in to keep that. And so I thought, why don't we just keep this particular sand this, and we work around this with maybe just making a nice rounding around it like that, and just make a little hole on it, and then you have something to hold on. So that's just going to be where we cut out with our skill saw or a jigsaw, and then sort of sand the rest. Alright, with this piece, which I wanted to first cut at first, but then decided, okay, I kind of like the way this flows. We're going to try to trim this a little bit even. Maybe I might cut it. Maybe we might sand it. We'll still see what to do. What is important when you're using or you're trying to figure out whether a wood is hard or not, a hardwood is usually heavy. You can feel the subsistence in this particular piece. You'll also find that the rings, when we clear it, is very, very tight, close to each other. Now for a cutting board, it's very important that we don't have holes exposed because we don't want bacteria to grow in it. But in this case, the holes are so tiny. We'll try to see, once it's sanded off, what we will do with it. And then later on in the video, we're going to give you tips and tricks on how to take care of your cutting board and how it works with your knives. So because the wood looks so really in a poor condition, it must have stood out for a while, I'm going to use 60 grit sanding paper and see what I can uncover under this grayness. Alright, so here we go. You can see after many hours of sanding, joke, what a wonderful color of the grain that we get. So this is encouraging, and so we just need to continue on sanding. Because I wanted to keep the live edge, I decided on using a little chisel just to clean up some of the barks. And because I sanded away my design, I need to just go ahead and draw it again. And so if I recall, it looked something like that. And I think we took a little off from there, and then of course we decided on something in the middle. So right now what we're going to do is take our jigsaw and just cut this out. And remember, when you work with a jigsaw, don't force it. Be patient, take your time, and let the blade do its work as you're going along. I'm going to clamp this piece down because it's pretty thick, and so we're going to saw the shape out. All right. Before we continue sanding some more, you'll find that for this particular project, it's going to be sanding heaven. And as you're sanding on your 60 or 80 grit, just trying to get most of the gray areas off. I'll show you later how you need to go from 60, 80, 100, 120, up to 220 grit paper. So you can get a really nice smooth finish on these cutting boards and on this particular cheese board. Alright, so what we're going to do is we decided that there needs to be, this is going to be our holder, but we also need some space for it to hang. And so we decided, okay, that might be a good size over there, especially if we put it right there. And so what we're going to do is just go make a little. This feels like a whole lifetime of sanding, but we got as far as getting these boards nice and smooth. Before you continue on for one last sand, you need to take a spray bottle, spray on the cutting board to raise the grain. So you just wet it completely, and then you wipe it off, wait for it to dry, and then you sand it again. This is very important to raise the grain, because you're going to use this as a cutting board. It's going to get wet all the time, and so you want to raise it so that next time it does not become like rough on the feeling, or when you put your hands over it and feel the cutting board. Alright, so it also gives you an opportunity to see how the grain is going to look like when you've put some oil on it, and this looks beautiful, especially with the markings in the grain. Alright, so let's give this some time to dry, and we will continue sanding after this on your 220 grit. Cutting board dried out. We gave it one last sand, and now we're just gonna wipe off with a paper towel. We just want to get all the dust off. You can try not to, because you want to seal it after this. So we're going to do this on all sides. Just get all the dust off and then oil it. For our last step, we need some paper towel and we need a butcher's block mineral oil. This I bought at Spar. You can find this at the braai section where the charcoal and matches section is. The one thing I have to tell you, the mineral oil is kind of expensive. This was over $100, and so but so useful. It's lasted me for 2 years now, because you need to do regular maintenance on a wooden board every 6 months. We'll talk a little bit about maintenance in just a bit. Let's apply some mineral oil. Take a paper towel, I'm going to put it double. I'm going to fold it. Okay. And we're going to apply the mineral oil directly on. You need to be generous with your application of the oil so that it can fully sink into the wood. Let's do the same here. Once you've applied the oil on all sides and on both sides, you leave it for 30 minutes. And if there's still some oil residue, you can just simply wipe it off. Today, with this cutting board, Kubeta woman showed superhuman strength with sanding. Sanding became my nemesis, and I fought it like the good Wonder Woman that I am. So, I hope you enjoy your cooking experience with these cutting boards. From Kubeta woman, with love, always.